One of the points of being a Maoist third worldist is to point out the global discrepancy in wealth. Now, a study has been done in a book that details just exactly how drastic that divide actually is. Of the global 1%, which means, the famed 1%, but of the entire world, almost half of the 1% live in the United States. And to be in that top global 1%, all a person needs is $34,000 US a year after taxes. Of the 60 million or so people who make up the world's richest percentile at the time of the most recent data, around 29 million live in the US, according to the study's author, Branko Milanovic. The proportion of the world's wealthiest people live in China, India, Russia, and Africa is statistically insignificant. One of the things capitalism likes to brag about, or the people who support capitalism, is the growth of a middle class in the third world. Of course, what they actually leave out of it is that this middle class, their living standard, is still dire poverty when compared to the first world. It's very interesting to look at this and then look at all the Occupy protests who have been the biggest rallying cry against the 1%. Little do they know that a good number of them actually are the global 1%. Yet you don't ever really hear them talking about that redistribution of wealth. What they're really only mad about is their loss of privilege, how the US middle class has come down, and how the working class in the US has dropped significantly. But we don't really hear about how the United States is literally the global 1%. And I think that's very interesting to look at the context when we're really looking at all the Occupy protests. What is actually most significant from this data is that it really proves the third worldist position correct. The first world working class, very far from being the wretched of the earth or the lowest of the low, those who have nothing but their chains to lose, is pretty false. In fact, when we really do look at it, some of the lower middle class, actually are in the global 1%. And yet we are supposed to believe that these are the people who have revolutionary potential. I mean, come on, let's look at it here. A lot of these people have a lot more than their chains to lose. A lot of them have 401ks, which is access to financial capital, which is an active exploitation in itself. So what I think this data is significant is that it really does confirm a lot of what third worldists have been saying about global inequality. If you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, then head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you can go to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media.